Hi, I'm Ed Rosenberg. Welcome to AgeWise, our weekly half hour on positive aging. For as long as we've recognized that many older adults can lose their mental acuity, we've been searching for the secret that will keep us sharper longer. On this AgeWise program, we're going to discuss a surprising way to reach inside the seemingly closed mind. Our guests are Dr. Christine Leist of App State's Hayes School of Music and Laura Jane Ward of Region D's Area Agency on Aging. Welcome.
Hi, Ed. Nice to be here.
Now, whether we're singers or musicians, or we can't carry a tune, or we can't play a note, it seems that we connect with music. Doesn't matter whether we're young or old, male or female, rich or poor, what country we come from, music is sort of a cultural universal. Christine, you teach music therapy in the Hayes School of Music here at App State. Can you define music therapy for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Music therapy is the therapeutic application of music experiences to address what we would call non-music goals. So it could be communication, social interaction, really depending on the needs of the client. And for music therapy, it needs to be applied by a qualified professional, and in this case, the music therapist would have graduated from an American Music Therapy approved academic program and passed the board certification exam. So, and it's within a therapeutic relationship. So that kind of in a nutshell is how I would define music therapy.
Well, thank you. Now, Laura Jane, you're a regional ombudsman, which means you go around to the nursing homes in the region and resolve issues, but you're also involved with promoting music as one of the activities, one of the tools that can be used in these settings. Do you observe anything between the relationship between aging and music?
Absolutely. Music is linked to our emotions, and specifically with music and memory, a resident can have a personalized playlist through music and memory, and it'll be on their iPod, and it could be the song that they walked down the aisle to in their wedding, or the song that was playing the first time when they were driving their car, and that can kind of transcend where they physically are and kind of take them back to a more pleasant, happy, calm place.
Now, one of the most difficult situations, I would think, for an older individual or for the family of an older individual is when this older person is dealing with dementia. But it seems that music, if done properly, can make a huge and positive difference in this situation. We have a fascinating example of music's power to work on the mind. This video was produced by Michael Rosato Bennett, and it's titled Henry.
Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Wait.
Who am I?
I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Okay, it's Jerry. How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. He was having seizures, and my mother couldn't handle him at home. Of course, it affected me greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song, no matter where he was. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing.
His name is Henry Dreyer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking more or less for religious music for him.
Okay.
Because he enjoys music and he always quotes in the Bible. So I'd rather have that for him.
We first see Henry inert, maybe depressed, unresponsive, and almost unalive.
Henry.
Yeah?
Henry.
Yes, sir.
I found your music. You want your music now?
What's up to you?
Okay, let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not.
Then he is given an iPod containing, we know, his favorite music. and immediately he lights up. His face assumes expression, his eyes open wide, he starts to sing and to rock and to move his arms, and he's being animated by the music.
And he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people. And then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened, he's being brought to life.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay? I'm going to give it back to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The effect of this doesn't stop, because when the headphones are taken off, Henry, normally mute and virtually unable to answer the simplest yes or no questions, is quite voluble.
Henry,
Yeah.
do you like the iPod? Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one, I mean.
Do you like music?
Yeah, I'm crazy about music. You play beautiful music, beautiful sound. Beautiful.
Did you play music when you were? Did you like music when you were young?
Yes, I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
Well, I guess, Cab Calloway was my #1 band guy. I like.
What's your favorite Cab Calloway song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present wrapped around your tree. Ow!
So in some sense, Henry is restored to himself. He has remembered who he is, and he's reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love, romance. Figure right now the world need to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music here. Beautiful, oh, lovely. And I feel the band of love, dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me this sound. I'll just say, I meet you. Let's see, Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
With this beautiful new technology, you can have all the music which is significant for you in something as big as a matchbox or whatever. And I think this may be very, very important in helping to animate, organize, and bring a sense of identity back to people who are out of it. Otherwise, music will bring them back into it, into their own personhood, their own memories, their own autobiographies.
Fascinating. Laura Jane, when you first saw Alive Inside, how did you react to it?
Oh my gosh, aside from bawling my eyes out because I could see every single one of my residents, I was just so motivated as an advocate for residents like Henry and the facilities for everyone to have that opportunity. I was motivated and absolutely moved by the movie.
And Christine, as someone who researches the mind and music, someone who teaches music therapy, or just as an individual, how do you react to seeing this video?
I think every time I see it, even though I know what's going to happen in the video, it's like seeing it fresh and new, and even with what I know about the brain and music therapy, there's almost a touch of magic to it for him to really show his personality and his love of music and his spirituality. It really is. It is just amazing to see his response.
I know for me, it makes me wish everybody could see it. This particular program focuses on a therapeutic technique or a program called Music and Memory. Laura Jane, you want to explain what that is because you're experienced in this?
Yes, Music and Memory it's the actual 501c3 nonprofit. It was started in 2008 by Dan Cohen. And by trade, he is actually a social worker who was thinking, you know, when I'm older, I want to be able to enjoy and appreciate my music from the 60s. And he started doing a little research, and he realized that there were no nursing homes, not only in his area, but in the entire country, that were utilizing the MP3 technology and iPods and magical playlists from the internet. So he got funding through the Rubin Foundation, and he was able to sample this at one of the local facilities, and it spread and spread from there. And Alive Inside was started back in 2012 when a documentary film crew heard about Dan Cohen and Music and Memory. And it started, they just wanted to follow him for a day, but they were so amazed and inspired, they ended up doing a full-length feature, which, as we just saw, was Alive Inside.
And what do you do in terms of this program here in the High Country?
I encourage and promote my facilities under Culture Change, which is the movement of person-centered care. And obviously having a personalized iPod playlist through Music and Memory is very personalized. So I encourage facilities and I educate the public, like now, on Music and Memory, and encourage iPod donation and involvement with the community and the facilities.
Well, that's wonderful. We know about 5% of the older population is living in long-term care institutions at any one time, and so by definition these people can't live independently. There are a number of dimensions of dependence. And Christine, what I want to ask you is this. As some people experience some of the changes of aging, it could be a vision deterioration, it could be hearing loss, it could be mobility, things happen that make us less likely to remain socially engaged. We don't go out as much, we don't see our friends as often, we don't interact with people as often, and this can lead to social isolations and perhaps feelings of depression. Are there ways that music can be used to keep people engaged with their family, their friends, with other people, and to fight off depression and isolation?
Definitely. Speaking within music therapy context, there's definitely research that shows the act of being engaged in music making, say in a small group in a music therapy setting. So they're singing together, they're talking about music, they're experiencing the mood benefits of music making, can certainly elevate mood, can reduce tension and depression. I've done some work with women and men and women with heart disease, looking at decreasing depression with a personalized music therapy listening program. And actually the general public can access research about music therapy through Oxford University Press, Music Therapy Perspectives and the Journal of Music Therapy, if you wanted to read more about music therapy and its benefits with the older adult population and also other individuals that we work with, certainly.
Laura Jane, have you seen evidence of music being able to reduce social isolation, to increase social engagement in your work? What do you see?
Yes, here at one of the local facilities, they had a lot of residents that had agitation and quote-unquote behaviors from the advanced dementia. And whenever they started implementing the music and therapy, and some of the residents that would get more agitated as a result of some of the complications from their dementia, overall they were calmer, and a couple of family members were even commented to the facility that they feel like their visits have a lot more meaning. And it's so hard to put an actual measure on quality of life because it's so different to everyone. But for a family and a resident to be able to connect because of music, I think that's very powerful.
So that's great. In addition, as people get older, they often experience physiological changes. For instance, many women as they age have to deal with osteoporosis. Many of us as we age find that our range of motion isn't what it used to be, that our balance may not be what it used to be. Christine, are there ways that music therapy can promote better range of motion, better balance, stronger bones?
Certainly, certainly. There's, again, some research to show that people through music therapy can show improvement in their gait, how they walk, but just thinking about people and how they use music for their own wellness, there's research that shows that the music, if you listen to music that you're enjoying while you're exercising or whatever it is, you're more motivated to exercise, you'll exercise longer, and what they call perceived exertion, well, you'll feel like you're exerting yourself less, and so overall having a better experience with whatever, maybe it's a physician protocol and exercise protocol that's been recommended to you, really considering applying music to that so that you might enjoy it more or be more likely to do it, or adding on the social component that we talked about with another person, that could be possible as well. So people can kind of look in their own music collection and really think about music for their own wellness.
I think if there's music we like, we tend to move to it. We may get up and dance around to it, and
Right.
these are all good kinds of activities that we see. Laura Jane, do these kinds of things happen in the facilities you visit? Are people moving around to music, being active with music?
Yes, a lot of facilities have for a long time had different kinds of music programs, singing, different things like that to get the residents engaged and get the residents moving like in their physical therapy. But specifically with personalized music, the residents are calmer, there's less stress, less agitation, and as we know, stress is terrible for all of us, let alone a large group of adults in a small setting like in a lot of the long-term care facilities.
Well, we've talked about music benefiting social engagement. If for no other reason we get together with others to sing, perform, whatever. We've talked about how it can help us deal with physical declines as we age. But probably what most of us are most afraid about as we age is cognitive decline. Whether it's memory issues or a particular type of dementia such as Alzheimer's, such as we saw in the video. Christine, what can you add to what we saw in the video about what music can do for people with cognitive deterioration, and why is it good at that?
Yeah, it's amazing what we saw in the video with Henry, that he went from before the music general kind of non-specific answers, which we see so much in dementia, and then they were asking him questions, and he's coming up with these specific answers. Cab Calloway, he's got the lyrics of the song, and these specific long-term memories. And there's evidence, scientists now know that music fires up the entire brain. There's imaging studies. I mean, the old thinking was it's the right hemisphere that's involved in music, and it's a whole brain activity. So all parts of the brain are involved, depending on what the task is. If they're thinking about music, it's the frontal lobe. If they're moving, it's another part of the brain. And so activating those long-term memories, it's all interconnected and all activated by music, the emotion of it, the memory of it. And so then the person's able to come up with specific answers when they, like you talked about, when they heard the song, or, oh, this was the song, or this was Cab Calloway. He's singing in the style of the music, and it's really making connections and engaging neuroplasticity of the brain through music. It's very powerful.
So people identify, we not only just connect with music, but we identify with the music perhaps that we grew up with.
Absolutely.
That our cohort grew up with.
Right.
We tend to remember songs and melodies and so on as we start to forget other things. Laura Jane, do you see this, you see music being beneficial for people who may have some cognitive decline or dementia in the facilities where you work? What's your experience there?
Yes, we actually had a resident. He was a former TV producer, and he had this recording on his playlist of him introducing one of his shows for the very first time, and just watching him remember, and he even said out loud, "That's me." So it can really take you back to yourself, and I think there are countless examples, not only here in the mountains, but across the state and across the country with this.
And many older people also suffer strokes. It's one of the most common causes of death among older people. Stroke survivors often have mobility impairments and speech impairments, if not cognitive impairments. Christine, what can you tell us about music therapy, perhaps with people with communication disorders or who are recovering from stroke?
Definitely. There's a great body of literature in that area where you have people who know what they want to say, but they, because of the damage from the stroke, are unable to say it, or they have limited speech. And so in that case, especially someone with a left hemisphere event, then the music making, singing the lyrics, practicing singing maybe a song that they enjoy, that they know the lyrics to, and then what we call fading out the lyrics so that then they practice speaking again, is very powerful, because speech has rhythm and music has rhythm. And speech has what we would call melodic aspects, and so does music, of course. And so in terms of brain functioning, they have similar overlapping areas in the brain. And so using the music involvement then to work on the speech can be very powerful. And there's several different techniques that can be done specifically, but there's a great body of literature in that area.
Laura Jane, in long-term care facilities, who would provide those music therapy experiences? Does a music therapist have to come in and lead that, or can staff be trained, resident care coordinators, activity directors? Who does that?
Well, there are a couple of different models here that are used in the mountains. There's some of the facilities do work with some of the music therapy students. Most work informally with different music groups. And as far as music and memory, a lot of the training for that, sitting down with the families and the residents and the playlist, a lot of that falls on the facility staff. So activities directors, social workers, and volunteers. There's actually a huge need for volunteers to help as more facilities start adopting this.
Well, as we saw in the video, it seems that the music made a tremendous difference for Henry, who is suffering from dementia. Christine, some of your research focuses on something called neurorehabilitation within a music therapy setting, which sort of implies there's something going on in my brain that can react better to music, or at least as well to music as perhaps other forms of therapy. What is neurorehabilitation? How is that practiced?
Well, I think it's similar to what we've already discussed with the working on communication with someone who's had a stroke. And really the concept coming back to the idea of neuroplasticity. And I've heard it explained, for instance, if you're going to work, you have a certain way that you drive to work every day. But if you're driving to work one day and that road is blocked, you have to find a different way to get to work. So it's like that with the brain. We have a certain way of doing things, but then if we have an injury, say a stroke or a brain tumor, we have to find a new way to get to that skill. And music can help make that path possible. Certainly no one can cure Alzheimer's or dementia, but we can awaken and enliven those connections in the brain. And certainly someone with stroke can develop a skill again in a different pathway, so to speak, with music. So that's how I would answer that question.
Okay, so we all connect with music. It seems logical that music can be of therapeutic value. We've seen the video. But in a nutshell, is there research that supports this?
Yes. And specifically to music therapy, we have the Journal of Music Therapy and Music Therapy Perspectives. And I'm pleased to say those are available to the general public online, really showing across populations and age groups, depending on what the study was for, but communication. You might have a research about benefits to communication, people who increase the number of words they can say. Definitely we have a great body of research, and also there's by population lists of research available through the American Music Therapy Association. So I'd encourage people to look at that.
Laura Jane, should I be putting together my playlist now?
It's never too early to start planning advanced directives and specific wishes. But if you have your preferences, go ahead and get them downloaded, I'd say.
Are you doing that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. On my phone, in my purse right now.
And perhaps we all should.
Yeah.
I want to thank you both for being on the show today, Dr. Christine Least of App State's Music Therapy Graduate Program and Laura Jane Ward of the Region D Area Agency on Aging. You know, it was not William Shakespeare, it was William Congreve who wrote, "Music hath charms to soothe the savage breast," but we often say beast instead. But there are a lot of beasts that we encounter or will encounter in aging. Some of those are physiological, some of those are psychological, but it seems that there's a lot that music can do to help us confront and overcome some of those beasts. And the message seems to be keep music part of your life. It's an important component of positive aging. Well, that's our program for this week. If you'd like to contact us with your comments or ideas for future shows, you can reach AppTV at www.watchapptv.com. I'm Ed Rosenberg. Thank you for joining us on AgeWise.